Welcome to this video where we're going to look at one of my very classic watches. For those of you who don't know, most of you would know what watch this is. In case you don't know, this is the second of all Seiko divers after the 62 mass. This is the 6105-8009. The 8010 is the Captain Willard. This also would be close to the Captain Willard, except it's not quite as turtle as the 8010 is. So this is from June of 1968. You can see that this says waterproof. This is not water resist. This would be the second month of its manufacturing. I think Seiko starts making this watch in 1968, April 1968. And this was made in June of 1968. There's a long story behind this. Obviously this is in completely original condition. It still has its tropic strap. You know, I guess one part broke, so somebody replaced it somewhere along the line. And which really brings me to the Seiko Prospex, the budget Prospex, the SRP. Now my SRP is not just any Prospex. This is a made in Japan SRP. This is a turtle. And you know, the question does arise that is the SRP an affordable Captain Willard? To understand that, let's first try to understand what makes the Captain Willard so special. The one thing that many people don't realize about the Captain Willard, let's look at the dimensions of the Captain Willard. It seems reasonably large when you wear it on the wrist. You know, when you put it on the wrist, it seems like a reasonably large watch. But the thing is, it is a watch from 1968. Remember, the 62 mass that came before this is about a 37mm watch, 36, 37, so it's fairly small. If we look at the dimensions of this, we're looking at about 39 point, so you know, approximately 39.35mm. That's not very big. If you were to look from edge to edge, we're talking about 41mm. So again, it's a reasonably small watch. Lug to lug should be about 45. Yeah, you know, about. Okay, so I was wrong on the lug to lug. It's actually, it's kind of hard to get a grip on this. It's really because of my strap. So it's about 48. Okay. Now this is a small watch. Now if you were to compare it to the SRP, the entry-level turtle from Seiko, let's look at the dimensions of its. That's 42.9, so it's almost basically 43mm. So say 42mm. That's a lot. This is only 39. That's 42. So this is significantly larger. And the beauty, the sublime beauty of the Captain Willard, you know, I should really call it by its correct name, which is the 6105-8009, because it's not really a Captain Willard, is the fact that it wore large for a watch that wasn't very large. The Seiko Turtle, on the other hand, is really a 6309, which comes in the 70s. And the SRP wears large. It's not a small watch under any circumstances. Of course, for those, you know, as an aside, for those who don't know, there is a difference between the Japanese made Prospex and the Malaysian Chinese made Prospex is they are using a different movement in the Japanese made Prospex. So if you're looking at these from a value perspective, be sure you get the ones that say made in Japan. Anyway, which actually brings me to another watch that I decided to pull out, is my old 7S26. Now the SKX007, a complete classic. There is, I would say, of all the Seiko divers in the last 20 years, this is the one that's destined to be the greatest classic of them all. This is actually really close to, let's put this away, to the Captain Willard in dimensions. In fact, it's really quite striking just how similar the dimensions are. Let's again run some dimensional checks. That's 41 and that's about 39.5. So here the bezel is just so much more closer in dimension that it wears on the hand really like the classic Captain Willard. Of course, there is a slight difference in design because here the bezel sticks out, so you don't really see that much of the cushion case which you would with the classic Willard. But I would say the SKX007 has its own elegance that is really hard to match. Again, this is a made in Japan SKX, and like is with the case with all made in Japan Seikos, it just has a far better finish quality than a Malaysian cased Seiko. So anyway, coming back to the point that I really wanted to talk about is the new SRP, the entry level Prospex, a budget Willard? Actually no. The entry level SRP is really a budget Seiko diver from the 1970s. There is nothing that's 1960s about this watch. In fact, if you want to get close to the 1960s Seikos, the late 60s divers, you're better off looking at an SKX007 from the mid 2000s to the like 4 or 5 years ago when they stopped making it. This is far more closer to the 1960s Seiko divers than any modern Prospex line is. So if you can lay your hand on one of these, just go get it, because these SKX007s are getting more and more expensive. This particular made in Japan SKX, like this one, and this is brand new, this has never been worn. I have so many of these that I keep some in stock, just maybe because I like the design. This goes for about $500 on eBay these days. It's amazing how much the price of these SKX007s have increased. Of course, nothing, it pales in comparison to this 1968 Seiko. This watch is thousands of dollars. This is, not a cheap watch under any circumstances. My 62 Mars is not with me right now, but maybe one day I'll have a review of my Captain Willard and my 62 Mars. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed my views on what I believe is the line of the new SRP Prospex. These are good watches. They definitely are nice watches. But Captain Willard, they're not. Hope you enjoyed the video. Please be sure to hit like and subscribe to my channel. And I will see you on another video.